Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're doing it live! So what does that mean? What that means is that the kind folks at Archer and Olive sent me a gifted reading journal, as I'm a former member of their ambassador team and a known avid reader. This is in their 8x8 style, and this, as well as many other designs, will be launching on August 13th. That's Wednesday, August 13th. To start, you can just take a quick little look at the spine here. I mean, I'm kind of a heathen in that I always just throw my box away immediately, but these are very cute boxes. So if you wanted to use these as like gift items, like gift boxes, that would be fun. I also believe that this design is not reading journal exclusive, meaning you can get this bookshelf design without it being a reading journal. I may or may not do that depending on what we think of this journal. It also comes in A5, B5, and 8x8. This is the 8x8 style because that's what I personally like. So let's dive into it. We're gonna open this immediately. When you open the cover, you have this gilding, as we're sort of used to, and it's a really cute bookshelf. Big fan. Oh, I'm so nervous. All right, now, okay. Interesting. So I thought when I opened it that I would be looking at, dot grid paper or some of these like reading journal templates that they have in here, but we have well, I was gonna say instructions, but they're tips technically. So this is, let's see, it's meant to enhance your reading experience and be enjoyable. It says don't do everything at once. My first thought was do everything at once. Tracking your progress, reviews, year in review, reflection pages. Okay, so these are interesting because these are the sorts of spreads that I usually do in my regular bullet journal, but that I think I would like to do, I'd really like it if I didn't have to do all of that from scratch. There's reading challenges and book bingo pages. Okay, I like that. And there's a bunch of blank pages with some ideas included. Now the question is okay, I cheated a little bit. I just wanted to see if there were dots in the background of like the regular pages. There are not. Okay. Now, do all the pages have numbers? Yes. Okay, that's gonna make Mark very happy. Mark your pages. So we have contents, so that you can use to sort of label the pages. I personally wouldn't do that until I was like sure that I really liked the page and I wasn't gonna like glue it together with another page or redo it. We have an about me page, reading goals. That feels really nice. A wish list, to be read. Okay, wait, I don't understand the difference between, oh, okay. See, the wish list is books that you'd like to read or own, or books that you might want to reread, but the TBR is the to be read. Interesting. And then blank pages. So the first 20, okay, yes. So the first, let's say 13 pages are meant to sort of be like the beginning of your journal, the setup, and like it says here, this section is all about preparing for your reading journey. It's where you'll introduce yourself, set goals, and organize your reading plans for the year. Think of it as the starting point for the adventure ahead, where you lay the foundation for tracking and reflecting on your literary experiences. All right, now, usually, like I said, I'm not a contents girly, but I do think that I would want to use this in my reading journal. Reason being that I often have a number of challenges that I put in sort of places, right, in my square notebook, and I forget where they are. This is so exciting. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is your library card. So your name, date of birth, which you're not getting that out of me. Oh my god, favorite author, favorite book? Ah, that's so much. That is so much. But this would be really cute. I'm wondering, there's not very much space to decorate this page, but here we go. Okay. So after the About Me, we go into the reading goals. So here are sort of the number of books that you want to read and number of books that you want to own. And then we have maybe potentially some non-numerical goals, or these could be something like read 12 books by 12 different authors, or, you know, there's a number of different reading goals. Here you could also put, personally, like, I'd be like, okay, well, I want to read 50 books by BIPOC authors, or maybe they're, you know, depending on where you live, your library might have a local summer reading challenge or like regular reading challenge, and maybe your goal is to complete that. So you can put a date here, and there's a cute little checkbox. Oh, love a checkbox. And then there's this little space on the right hand side for when you started the goal and when you completed the goal. So that would be more useful probably for seasonal challenges, or if you're, you know, if you're trying to speed read, maybe if you're trying to see how fast you can read 52 books compared to like a previous year. That might be how I would use that section. And if you have any ideas for how you would use that section, let me know. Then, okay, we go into the wish list. So this is definitely more useful for people who don't immediately just buy the book that they want. But I do like that they have multiple formats here. So they have it in physical, audio, and ebook. And you can write down the title, the author, and the genre. And I just need to say, that is an ample amount of title space. You may notice that titles are getting longer lately. They are certainly getting longer. And you've got room for, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you've got 20 titles that you can put on here. I would say that maybe, just maybe, how I would use this is for my most anticipated pre-orders. So in addition to the title and the author and the genre, I might add on a little something to the side of like releases and like if I've pre-ordered it or not. So like, for example, Catabasis, which is not, I think it's actually pronounced like Catabasis or something. That comes out in August. I have already pre-ordered it, but it is one of my most anticipated titles. And I will say that also, you could totally, hands down, white out that title and label this whatever you want. This could be your 5-star books, hypothetically, or 5-star predictions. But we'll look at the rest of the journal first. All right, now this better be, oh, okay. I was gonna say, this better be really long. It is not as long as I would have liked. So each of these pages has 20 books on it, so for a total of 40 books. And for most people, that will be enough. For me, what I'll put on here probably is the books that are on my TBR that I actually expect to read. Because some, you know, for some people, your TBR is where books go to die, where they just sit there forever and ever and ever. And sometimes I need to go through there and be like, yeah, I have no intention of reading this anymore. My preferences have changed. I'm not interested. But that's sort of where we're at. And right here, we go into blank dot grid pages. So I just wanted to see really quick. I thought, yes, okay. So this is your to be read, and then they have blanks on the index for you to just write in what that is. So this could be an extension of your TBR, or it could be sort of any yearly challenges that you're doing, like a year of Goober, etc. All right, now we have, let's see, from pages 22 to 127, these are structured. So what are we looking at? We're looking at a daily reading tracker. That is, okay. We'll look into that in a little bit more detail. A book tracker, a series tracker, which, let's be real, I need that. Book logs, book reviews. So this is about 90 pages there of book reviews. where each review is going to get about 4 pages, and then some blank pages thrown in too. And so what I'm a little bit worried about for the book reviews is that if you read more than 24 books, what are you supposed to do? Now, you could pick your favorites. I want to see if you're able to kind of like customize it a little bit. Whether or not I do that today, I don't know, because I might want to use this for 2025. We'll see. And then here we go. So, yeah, okay, good. So, daily reading tracker. So what they have here, right, is a checkbox for every single day of the year. And then along the bottom, I would say that there's definitely enough room for you to color code this. So let's say you could do 0 to 15 minutes, 16 to 30 minutes, etc. And you could color code how much you read that day. Now, what you could also do is just if you read that day at all, right? Because I'm not the type to really remember what I did. I'm not going to remember exactly how much I read, but I will remember if I did. Another option, you could do it by genre. So like, let's say maybe in January, I'm like, whoa, I'm on a romance kick. I read 15 days of straight romance. That would be fun too. Also, I mean, this is the first time I've noticed this, but they have the year there and it's blank, right? This is not 2025 specific. And then we have the book tracker, which this I made for myself previously by taking one of those little library card holders, like from when, you know, people actually checked books out that way, and I put it right here, and I would pull it out and be like, oh, did I lend this book to somebody, you know, etc. So, you know, one of my coworkers, I have lent her 3 books, 2 of which I remember, 1 of which I don't, and I should ask her so that I know where those are. I don't think, at least for me, I don't think I'd run out of room in this. As much as I like offer to lend things, usually people are like, no, I'm okay. Here is the series tracker. You can only technically here do 5 series at once. On the left-hand side is for your trilogies, your duologies. On the right-hand side is for your longer series. Now, if you're not doing any longer series, you could totally break this up into a second version of this, the book series, book title, etc. Especially if you are doing like a duology. I think that a duology would fit really well into one of those as well. So 5 series. I feel like if I'm reading more than 5 series, I can't even say that. I was gonna say, I think if I'm reading more than 5 series at a time, like I don't think I'm doing that. I am absolutely doing that because I'm reading a lot of series that are coming out. They're currently being released. So maybe this might be like my completed series tracker, because sometimes I wait to make sure that they're like gonna keep releasing books. All right. And I'm just skipping ahead just a teensy bit. Yes. Okay. So these are the book logs, right? These are very, very quick. Title, author, genre, my rating, dates read, and the format. And you have 24 of these. And I was trying to see if there was maybe a little bit of flexibility in there at all. Not quite. These remind me a lot of AJ McGarvey's spreads, which I love. It's just very like quick and to the point, and sometimes she'll write like a little bit of a review below. But what, you know, for me, I read over 200 books a year. This is not as it is going to work for me. However, I do think that, you know, maybe at the end of each month I could pick my 2 favorite books from the month, and like then those could go in here, and I'd be like, and then at the end of the year I go, all right, these were my top 24 books, now fight or whatever, in like a book bracket or something. Now of course, you know, there might be a month where I don't have any books that I like, and another month where I have 10. That is completely possible and has 100% happened. Now let's get these little tails out. Let's dive into the book review page itself. You'll notice that, I'm just gonna move it over, obviously some of these do overlap with the book log, right? That's just kind of normal. But this is a bit more expanded. So you have your title, your author, your genre, the dates that it was published, which, you know, if you're doing a backlist challenge, that might be really helpful for you. If it was recommended by anyone, whether it's, you know, your mom or a librarian or someone's book club, I think that would be really useful. The language, so that works if you're bilingual or trying to learn another language. Let's say you're trying to read it in French. If it's a translated work, I would also put I would say translated from X, like Korean or something, and I think that would be cool. And where you got the book from. So you could have got it from, you know, your local library, your local independent bookseller, you know, the mall. And then we've got just a lot of prompts, okay? And so these prompts are meant to sort of get you thinking about the book a little bit more, maybe. So we have our summary. This space here, I think, is for a cover. And you'll notice that it's a square, right? So it's definitely larger than like your normal book cover. Just have fun with it, right? Like maybe you'll put it here and add some stickers or something. That's absolutely your playground. We also have a huge section for favorite quotes. So you could actually fill this out while you're reading the book. And I do like that. How it made you feel. Would you recommend this book? It's also worth noting that this favorite quotes area is large enough for you to do like hand lettering. I think that would be awesome. And then a big section for thoughts, key takeaways, and notes. And ooh, I just noticed that for each review they have the little 01. So this is the first review, so it's 01. And if we flip down the third review, it's 03. That's kind of helpful. Now, these are, you know, pretty in-depth, I would say. I don't know if that's going to be for me, but I do think that for books that I really, really like, I think they'll, you know, maybe they'll make the journal. And, you know, like I just bought a sticker set specifically for like a particular book. And I think that could be sort of the thing that I do here, where I just like put all of my favorite books for the year into one journal. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe someone's like, oh, what book should I read? And I can just whip it out and be like, let's see. These were my favorite books recently. I don't know. I also have a spreadsheet. Really, the spreadsheet is where my heart lives. All right, now, at the end of this section, we have a few more blank pages to do with whatever you want. And then, oh yes. So, here at the end, we've got a library bookshelf, which I'm just gonna flip. We love that. We love a bookshelf. We've got book bingos. We have a reading challenge, a year in review, favorites, reflection, and even more blank pages. So here, what you can do, what a lot of people do is you'll color in the book as you read it, and often you'll write in the title on the spine. And then you fill up the whole bookshelf. Does it say how many books are in there? I'm not gonna count that. It looks like more than at least 52, maybe more. Not significantly more though. And then, okay, so we have 2 book bingo boards, one from Archer and Olive and one that you can create your own. My initial reaction of read a book that makes you cry, I'm like, well, no books have made me cry in a very long time. I can never complete this bingo. What the heck? But this is still fun, and I like having that one there for your customization. And then, so there's a build your own reading challenge and a sort of pre-built reading challenge, which some of these prompts I like, some of these prompts I don't. and that's perfectly okay, mostly because a lot of them are historical, and I don't particularly love historical books, but complete a book series, complete 5 book reviews, read a book by an author of color, those ones I am here for. And then reading stats. So this can be used even if, you read more than 24 books, or, that is completely fine. So we have our books read, our pages read, our days read. Here, what I would say, especially for pages read, using a tracker like Storygraph is going to be the way to go, because it is able to do all of that for you. You just have to pick which format you read it in, and that's because, generally, certain editions will have different page numbers, etc. You can pick your quickest book that you read, your slowest book, your genres, your tropes, most read author, most reread book. I don't reread books usually because there's so many new books and books I haven't read coming out. And then ratings. So you would say, I read 2 1-star books, etc. The format and the type of book that you read. Ooh, and then the book awards. So what? This is cool. So your book of the year, which that is always a contentious sort of like area. Your most surprising read, your most emotional read, your most thought-provoking book, and the best new author. And then, you can do your best standalone, best duology, best series, your longest book, your shortest book, and the best of each genre that you read. Also your least favorite books and your least favorite characters. And then here you can do your favorite book of the month, you could print out the title, you could draw the title, you could letter the title, classic. And then there's more favorites. I think this is actually really fun. So it has to do with quotes and endings and characters and things like that. I have not seen a reading journal do this. And then finally, it would be your reflection, so your highlights, your successes, surprises, what you learned, and that's it. That's the whole journal. Oh my gosh. Oh, and there's a pocket in the back. But you have a bunch of free pages at the end, so these are for things like book brackets or extra challenges, all sorts of things. Now, am I 100% sold on this? Not quite. However, first of all, I do think that if you're just getting started doing a reading journal or getting started on your reading journey, this is great. This is a very well structured reading journal that's meant to provoke thoughts and meant to give you plenty of space for reviews. It does have some flexibility in that, any of these section titles you could white out and replace with whatever you want. I think there's also a lot of room to be a little bit creative with it because of the space. But it does have a limited number of reviews, right? Because each review is 4 pages and they wanted to make sure to give you a little bit of space to do other stuff. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, well, do I have to buy this? No, of course not. You can use it as inspiration for creating this in a bullet journal or in another planner. Or you can just say, nah, it's not for me, and just move on with your life. I think that this would be best used alongside apps like Storygraph or Goodreads, or even, if you're like me, a spreadsheet. But this is really nice. This is a really nice reading journal. I think that this would be a great gift for the reader in your life, because look how pretty that is. And it's vegan leather. It's like they knew. It's like they knew that this is the one that I really like. Now, I'm still torn on this, and, let me know what you think. Do you think that I should move into a journal like this, or that I should stick with my bullet journal sort of themes? Or maybe incorporate some of these spreads. I really like this type of spread. Maybe I can incorporate that into my journal. But let me know what you think. You can also use the code PLANWITHM10 for 10% off at Archer and Olive. That is an affiliate link, so any money that you spend there, 10% of that will directly go to me and support this channel. And as always, happy planning.